taxes, ballot harvesting, ballot dumps, riots. The news cycle never stops. 2020 has been 36 years long, and we've still got 3 months to go. Welcome back to Glasshouse Media. If you're new here, my name is Tim, and I am so glad that you found this channel. If you'd like to support my channel, if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. I don't have a marketing team or anything like that. It's just me over here right now. I'm just a dude trying to share information. So if you think what I'm doing here is important, share this video with anyone you think might be interested in watching. So the news on everyone's mind today is, of course, Donald Trump's taxes. As if anyone actually cares. No one is going to be affected by this news except for the people that clearly see this as a smear campaign. The people who don't like Trump are going to add this to their list of reasons to hate him, regardless of the facts. And the people who like him are going to view this as exclusively a smear campaign, regardless of the facts. But independent and undecided voters are going to say, yeah, that's kind of sleazy. Yeah, he's gaming the tax system, but we already knew this. How did you not know this? It's ridiculous. Everyone who knows anything knows Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes. He brags about it openly. How did you not know this? So, going over here to this New York Times article that released all of the juicy details about Donald Trump's long-concealed records show Trump's chronic losses and years of tax avoidance. Okay. Sure. Chronic losses and years of tax avoidance. Sure. Okay. So, the Times obtained Donald Trump's tax information extending over more than 2 decades, revealing struggling properties, vast write-offs, and an audit battle, and hundreds of millions of incoming debt. Okay, so what? Donald J. Trump paid $750 in federal income taxes the year he won the presidency. In his first year in the White House, he paid another $750. So between 2016 2017, he paid $1,500. Okay, first of all, libertarians over here so what? Federal income tax is stupid anyway. And Republicans are all show me how to do that, please. The only people that are actually upset about this are the Democrats who previously already hated Trump. But here's where the story gets a little interesting. Let me pull up my search bar here and type in a little 4.2. Boom. Comes up right here. As he settled into the Oval Office, his tax bills soon returned to form. His potential taxable income in 2016 and 2017 included $24.8 million in profits from sources related to his celebrity status and $56.4 million for the loans he did not repay. The dreaded alternative minimum tax would let his business losses erase only some of his liability. Okay, here's where it gets a little juicy. Each time he requested an extension to file his 1040, and each time he made the required payments to the IRS for income taxes he might owe. So 2016, he paid $1 million. 2017, he paid $4.2 million. So instead of paying $1,500 between the 2 years, he paid $5.2 million. The New York Times' own story has just discredited itself and exonerated Trump from this. He doesn't pay taxes. No, he did. He paid $5.2 million. He was only responsible for $750 per year. Okay, despite the fact that he had enough tax credits for both 2016 and 2017 to pay zero. Although he had more than enough credits to owe no taxes at all, his accountants appear to have carved out an allowance for small tax liability for both 2016 and 2017. So he still had enough tax credits to pay zero. And he paid $1,500. Man, oh man. Someone give me Donald Trump's number. I want that $1,500. But possibly my favorite part of this story. Let's type up this Russia. The returns are some of the most sought after and speculated about records in recent memory. In Mr. Trump's nearly 4 years in office, and across his endlessly hyped decades in the public eye, journalists, prosecutors, opposition politicians, and conspiracists have, with limited success, sought to excavate the enigmas of his finance. By their very nature, the filings will leave many questions unanswered, many questioners unfulfilled. They comprise information that Mr. Trump has disclosed to the IRS, not the findings of an independent financial examination. They report that Mr. Trump owns hundreds of millions of dollars in valuable assets, but they do not reveal his true wealth. And here's the kicker. Nor do they reveal any previously unreported connections to Russia. Boom. This New York Times article just exonerated Trump of the 4-year-long smear campaign known as Russiagate. Trump was not paying Russians to aid in his campaign efforts. They just blew up their own story. They blew up their own narrative. And they weren't even thinking about it. Man, oh man. So the only thing that's going to push, the only way that this story is going to push independents and undecided voters, it's going to push them into the Trump campaign. It's pushed me into the Trump campaign. I'll tell you that. Something else that will push voters into the Trump campaign are all these riots. So this article by Allsaid, Bringing Clarity to Crisis, gives a real nice overview of all the protests, riots, strategic developments, violence against civilians, and, quote, battles across the nation between May 24th and August 22nd of 2020. So 4 months. 4 months. And we see all these protests and all these riots. And I want you to look closely at where these protests and riots are collected the most. It's not blue area. I'm sorry, it's not red areas. It's blue areas. So Oklahoma City, very blue. Tulsa, very blue. Oklahoma is very red, which is why we don't see anything but protests around. But those two blue areas of Oklahoma, we see some riots. Coast of California, very, very blue. Anyone that knows that. Anyone that knows left from right knows any coast is going to be pretty blue. Big cities, lots of people, means blue area. Lots of protests, just as many riots. Same thing. Oh, look. Oregon, Portland area, more protests than riots. I'm sorry, other way around. Down in middle of Oregon, we've got more protests than riots, but in Portland area, we've got more riots than protests. And then Seattle, Washington, ooh, yeah, a lot of protests, but just as many riots. And then we look over here, as we look at blue areas, we see lots of riots. Red areas, lots of protests and nothing else. We get up to New York, Maine, Massachusetts, all these northeastern states, lots and lots of riots. So what are you supposed to do with that? I was under the assumption, we'll say. I was told by reliable sources that this is Donald Trump's America. Really? Is this Donald Trump's America? When all of these riots are happening in blue areas? This isn't Donald Trump's America. This is Barack Obama's America. This is Barack Obama's America. Speaking of Barack Obama's America, we'll look up here in Minnesota. This is Ilhan Omar's district. And you know who was responsible for getting Ilhan Omar elected? Barack Obama. So let's take a look at this. Tulsi Gabbard cites Project Veritas' Ilhan Omar video in call to end ballot harvesting. Representative Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat of Hawaii, cited an investigation by Project Veritas into the campaign of Representative Ilhan Omar to call in to outlaw ballot harvesting. Gabbard embarked on a long-shot campaign for president earlier this year and dropped out of the primaries in March after winning just 2 delegates. It's 2 more than Kamala Harris won. On September 18th, Gabbard introduced legislation to ban ballot harvesting, in which the third parties are authorized to gather ballots from voters to submit in an election. Third party, this is ridiculous. This is allowing people to walk up and down the street to random people's houses, pick up their ballots, and turn them in or do whatever they want with them. That's a little sketchy. I don't like that. Because now, people you don't know, people you don't trust, are picking up your ballots, and in many cases, as we're about to see, empty, unfilled ballots. We'll fill them out in your name and turn them in. Or if you filled it out for someone like Donald Trump or Joe Jorgensen, someone that they don't like, they will throw your ballot in the trash. They will light it on fire, put it through the shredder, or, as we've seen in the past week, they will throw it into the ditch in a bag of mail. Gabbard says, tweeted, "Banning ballot harvesting is not a partisan issue. Fact check true. It's been used and abused in states like North Carolina and California and is ripe for fraud. Fact check true. Following Gabbard's proposal, conservative activist group Project Veritas released an investigation into Omar's campaign. The group's founder, James O'Keefe, filmed several undercover videos that purport to show campaign workers engaging in electoral fraud. The alleged scheme involves a cash for ballots operation in which workers illegally gather and fill out absentee ballots from mostly elderly Somali immigrants. So what is this video? I'm so glad you asked. We're about to find out. So, new Project Veritas video, voter fraud in Ilhan Omar's district. A ballot broker boasts about keeping hundreds of absentee ballots in his car. He brags about them being filled in by people other than voters. Often money changes hands. Witnesses tie the rampant fraud to the campaign chairman of a prominent member of the radical squad in the U.S. House. Loose election laws allow people to come from out of state, vote, and then leave again. This activity is really happening in America in 2020, and it's been captured on video by guerrilla filmmaker James O'Keefe. Some of it could be coming to swing states near you if something isn't done. Boy, oh boy, are we in for a treat.
James O'Keefe here in downtown Minneapolis at the scene of the crime. The person you're about to meet, Liban Mohammed, aka King Liban I, boasts about the hundreds of absentee ballots in his car. This video is one of the first of its kind. A man self-incriminating himself, bragging about all the illegal ballot harvesting that he does.
Money is everything. Money is the key in this world. If you ain't got money, you should not be here, period. You know what I'm saying? Lacag is everything. Campaign lacag baa wata. $200 iyo $100 oo waxa la ayida iyo awooga iyo aad ka soo qaadeen. You cannot campaign that. You gotta have an investment to campaign. You gotta have a fundraisers. You gotta have waxa la yiraahdo. You gotta have the whole team. Numbers don't lie. Wajida gaariyaygu waa buuxaa. Waxaas waa absent ballot salka yaala. Soo ma jeedid. Fiiri, waxaas oo dhan soo ma jeedid. Waa buuxaa gaariyaygu. Waa buuxaa yaala. Waxaas kullu waa Jamaal Cusmaan way. Fiiri. 300 kaliya maanta soo dhacday oo Jamaal Cusmaan. Ya. Ciidamada hogaaminaysa Aamino maxaad leedahay? Waa lagu kala baxay Soomaa meesha. Aad weyn. waa jeneraal ciidamada hogaaminaysa weeye sida ay la socotaan ilaahay haata shaqadu waa socotaa adeer saak 6 baan bilownay ilaahay haatana waa wadnaa waa noo jeedaa saacadana waa u jeedaan waa ay horeysa saacadayda oo bixinay 2 in the morning still hustling 2 in the morning still hustling.
I think he was both Ilhan Omar and Jamal, but I think he was.
Boy, oh boy. boy, oh boy. So here's what's happening here. This week, we have confirmation that both Barack Obama and Joe Biden were involved in the smear campaign using the FBI as a weapon against the Donald Trump campaign. Okay, we have Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and members of their team bailing out the people that did this, bailing them out from jail. And now we've got this person, Ilhan Omar, the congresswoman from Minnesota that Barack Obama allowed to get voted in by placing Somali immigrants in Minnesota. That's how she got elected. Her campaign, and likely her, are involved in ballot harvesting. This is cheating. This is cheating to win. And as you saw, Jamal Osman was collecting the ballots and had hundreds of ballots, some of them not filled. And he filled them in himself and was going to turn them in. A concerted effort is being made to use the coronavirus as an excuse to transform how we vote in elections by shifting to mail-in or absentee ballots. We are told that democracy will be improved if we allow ballots to be handled outside the scrutiny of elected officials, and that there is almost no voter fraud. So what's to worry about? No voter fraud. No voter fraud. Have you not been paying attention in the past 6 months? We've got ballot harvesting. We've got ballot destruction. We've got people filling out ballots that aren't their own. We've got members of the Democratic Party in large cities mailing out ballots to underprivileged areas and members of minorities with the wrong name and address. And so if they sign it with their correct name, it's going to be counted as wrong. They won't count it because it doesn't match. And this is mostly happening in minorities and underprivileged areas by Democrats in large cities. But there's no evidence of voter fraud. Are you kidding me? Common sense and election observers argue against any sudden shift. Absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud, concluded the Bipartisan Commission of the Federal Election Reform, co-chaired by former President Jimmy Carter. Allowing such ballots, quote, increases the risk of fraud and of contested elections. There you have it. Fraud is happening, and it's happening all over the place, largely due to people like Ilhan Omar, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. They're trashing the ballots that they don't like, keeping the ones that they do, and filling out the empty ones. If that's not cheating, I don't know what is. The Republican Party is not doing this, or if they are, it's not nearly on a wide scale as this. The Republican Party is not changing the rules last minute to fit their agenda. The Democratic Party is. If you remember 2016, they changed the rules of the Senate to try and jam through their own Supreme Court justice. It didn't work. And now, by changing the rules, they've now allowed Donald Trump to get 3 nominees: Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. And if you don't think Amy Coney Barrett will be approved before the end of his lame duck session, you've got another thing coming and you haven't been paying attention. He will get it approved. There's not much the Democrats can do to stop him. And we've already gone through all the things they're going to try. They're going to try to impeach him. They're going to try to impeach Bill Barr, Attorney General. They're going to impeach whoever they can to try and drag this thing out as long as possible. They're going to, as Reza Aslan says on Twitter, and has said multiple days now, burn the effing thing down. The Democrats in power are crazy. The mainline Democrats, the mainstream Democrats, are going crazy, and they're willing to burn down an entire nation because they don't like what's happening. They are throwing fits like children. And they are targeting Amy Coney Barrett for adopting 2 kids from Haiti. Imagine how that's going to make people, suburban housewives feel. Now we're getting somewhere. Amy Coney Barrett, I think, is going to become a sort of, Tim Pool said it best. Amy Coney Barrett's going to become an avatar of the suburban housewife. And as they target her and things that she does, okay, suburban housewives all over the United States are going to think, they're attacking her for this? I do that. And they're going to vote for Trump because they are driving voters away by a character assassinating these people. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, and I will see you guys here tomorrow.